Welcome to the season finale of the McLaren driver career with F123 just around the corner. We feel suitably warmed up for the new game, and it's going to be quite warm indeed at Abu Dhabi as well for this season finale with championships on the line, both driver and constructor, and something to fight for ourselves as constructors, and Lando certainly for himself personally to try and get ahead of Carlos Sainz in the drivers. There's a lot on the line here. The gap in the drivers is close enough for it to be decided either way in today's episode as well. With the R&D, we are right with Mercedes, arguably the third fastest car on the grid. And with strategy, who knows whether we might well get ourselves a podium to say goodbye to this year's game. We'll try our absolute best. I used to hate driving around Abu Dhabi, but since the updated layout, I actually enjoy it a lot more. So fingers crossed, we can have a good Grand Prix here and go well at the end of the year. Do drop the video a like if you've enjoyed this McLaren driver career. I'd appreciate the support. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the channel for the F123 My Team that is starting imminently. Very, very soon indeed as I record this. And I'm very much looking forward to it too. Right, session at a time. Practice, quali, race. It's game on. Loads of resource points, unfortunately useless to us at this stage of this save, considering this is the last race that we're doing in it. But certainly if I can have a similar sort of resource point haul every week in the My Team when we start out on F123, I will be very, very pleased indeed. Particularly happy. So, hopefully, with fresh bits in the car, to be fair, we showed some pace in practice, but not massive. But with fresh components, or fresh-ish components, as fresher components I can put in every place, we might have a better qualifying. We do a 24.2 in Q1, which is enough for second. That was probably the smoothest lap I've had all weekend, though, to be fair, so don't read too much into it at this stage. I'm now going to have to try and replicate it, which is going to be the difficult thing. I might not be able to get through here, you know. I need to nail this last bit. To be fair, I think we did. Can we get through? 24.356. So only going to be good enough for a maximum of 8th or 9th. And 9th it is. It's really tight. At least it was really tight before I went out for that lap between everybody from 2nd to 8th. Were there improvements anywhere? No. So Max dipped into the 23s. But if I'd have pulled out the same lap time I did in Q1, I still would only have been 7th. There's only a couple of tenths, though, between the podium places and the back of the points at the minute, so this is going to be intense in Q3, and then very much so for the race as well. Fortunately, I think my best lap is going to end up being my Q1 lap. 24.360. I do have enough time to go again, but I'm pretty sure the tyres won't last that well, and if the delta just continues to drop, then we will abandon. And I think it's probably safe to abandon the lap. So we'll return to garage. So frustrating that we put such a scrappy lap in Q3 when it really mattered. We did a 23.220 in Q1, and then, sorry, 24.220 in Q1, and then couldn't match it in quali. I'm going to start P9, but to be fair, 23 ones? Where have they found a second from? What? Well, I would have only started P8 anyway, because there's no way I was getting into the 23s. Oh, God. Where have they just pulled an extra second from in Q3? This is going to be intriguing and challenging final race of the season, for sure. Bloody hell, I wasn't ready for that. Hopefully, some people are taking penalties for this final Grand Prix, but I don't envisage they will. Lewis on pole. Oh, loads of people are taking penalties. I'm actually going to start P3 here, I think. 4. Well, I qualified 9th, but I'm starting 4th. Unfortunately, it's not massive penalties for everyone that took one, or for some that took one. But crucially for the drivers championship, Verstappen is starting quite high up, and Charles Leclerc is a long way back. This is huge. It's genuinely massive for the driver's title. Leclerc is just nowhere in the final 4. Row 9 or 10, he's going to be on the very, very back of the grid. George Russell in 18th. So is Lando, though. So for the constructors, that's not great for us, but at least George Russell is back there with him. Charles Leclerc, trying to win the driver standings, starts last. That is a yikes, mate. Race strategy-wise, I've no idea what's going to happen with fuel. I am pretty much bang on with strategy, with tyre wear. Everyone, the front runners are starting on mediums. I'm probably going to copy them then. I'm probably going to start on mediums as well. I think that's probably the best thing to do. And then we will try and just adjust from there. That's not going to be the one at all. Medium hard or one stop. We're going to be 10 seconds slower. We're going to gain more by putting on fresher tyres and gunning it. Right, medium, soft is the decision then. That was pretty straightforward. I might put a little bit extra fuel back in. Okay, 3 laps worth of extra fuel and race time. So just for full disclosure, I have had to start again because of tyre temps, and as such, a number of other drivers' tyre strategies have changed. At the back, they're still on mediums, but around me now, Max Verstappen is on the mediums, not the softs, and Sainz is on the softs, not the mediums. We got 15 laps in and then realised that the tyre temps were rubbish, so I've started again. Ready with the clutch. So that's the reason why it looks slightly different to how it did last time you saw me. Not a terrible start, actually. Not a terrible start. Getting gobbled a little bit. No, managed to hold off. Okay, good. Sainz has shot straight into the lead. Carlos Sainz on those soft tyres is rapid. This is going to be chaos. I've got Max Verstappen right behind me. There's a front wing's come off somewhere. Saw that bouncing around in front of me. I'm not sure who it was that lost front wing, but Alonso was slightly slow there. And then they've got the straight line speed to get away again, so we'll have to use battery to stay with. But Carlos Sainz is, well, for lack of any other word, gone. I think it might be Alonso that got the wing damage because he seems to be quite slow through the corners here. We'll find out in a moment because they'll peel off into the pits for a new wing, I imagine. Yellow flag behind somewhere, and it was Alonso that was carrying that wing damage. Esteban Ocon is out of the Grand Prix. What's happened with him further back? He's just got an issue. His car is just basically knackered. Sorry, Esteban. Your race is over, unfortunately for you. Now the question is, can we hold on to these other, on paper, faster cars around us? Well, you know, tyre temps are decent, and we're competitive. Who'd have thought? Max is all over me, though. As much as I'm looking ahead at Sergio, I am definitely looking behind me at Max as well. Checo is without DRS on Lewis in front of him, though, so he is going to be a little bit... Oh, I thought the back end started to go. He is going to be a little bit vulnerable here down the straight, but am I going to be able to be close enough to him? To actually do anything. At least sticking with is going to be enough for now, I think. I had the purple sector one, then I think Max Verstappen behind me just went and took it off me immediately. I'll be able to at least challenge him for it. So much better, those two curves, without the little sausages right in the middle of them. So much quicker as well, and much more enjoyable to drive. I'll have the fastest lap, please, Sergio. Sergio Perez set the fastest lap of the race, and then I immediately, a matter of half a second later, took it off him. Yeah, sitting behind and going for an undercut might be an idea. I'm just not sure when they're going to pit on their mediums. Because the default medium stop strategy had driver, or originally had it stopping a lot earlier than when we planned to stop. We altered it, didn't we, to stop on 23, and upped it from about 17 or 18. Sainz's tyres are definitely starting to wane, though, pace-wise, because he's come back towards us. Look, Carlos Sainz was well down the road, and now, unless he's made a mistake, those soft tyres are starting to get worn already. We're not going to be able to run very long on those softs at the end of the Grand Prix at all. So I think it's safe to say we can't really rely on having a pace advantage on softs at the end of the Grand Prix, because quite frankly, any pace advantage we have is only going to last 4, 5 laps maybe, by which point we're going to be slower than those on the mediums again. So we can't really afford to leave ourselves too much of a gap to try and make up, because quite frankly we won't make it up. Lewis is going for the lead of the race. They're going to be slow on the apex though, which is going to make them vulnerable. Onto the next DRS straight, and Sergio Perez might have a look. Lewis is through.
Hamilton has just made a move for first place.
I know, I can see it. I've got grandstand seats, pal. Right, Checo's going to get Sergio here because he's lost DRS on Lewis and he's just going to be vulnerable. Sergio Perez going for P2 and quite comfortably, very comfortably in fact, taking P2. A little bit defensive on the way in. See Max right behind me. He's not letting me have a moment's peace. Max is actually going to try and take me here. I'm going to have to use a bit of battery, but he's going for my inside here, Max. Try and hold it around the outside if I can. Also try not to hit him. This is proper wheel-to-wheel stuff with Max Verstappen now. He's still on my outside. So I'm going to have to give him space, and he's going to swoop through, is he? Still having to leave him space here. He's come through and hit me a little bit there. Still trying to leave him some space. Well, myself and Max Verstappen, wheel to wheel, side by side for about 4 corners there as Carlos Sainz pits from in front of us. And now a gap has opened up to Sergio Perez. So I need to try and close that gap down if we can, whilst trying not to get overtaken by Max. Lando's in the pits. Didn't Lando start on mediums, though? Sure, Lando started on mediums. Okay, so Lando and Fernando have gone medium hard. That's a strange call. That's an odd call. I'm not sure about that one, Lando. Now, the gap to Checo will probably go up a little bit now, but as long as the gap to Lewis is coming down, that means we're still catching them as a duo. I don't know whether Max would be much faster than me though to try and close down those 2 in front. I could maybe do that. Don't know whether it'd work though. Checo's going for the lead. This will slow them up into the hairpin. This is exactly what I needed. No, Max, you going for me is exactly what I didn't need. Fuck's sake, what are the chances? They start to fight. They start to fight, and then Max goes for me as well. And we can't take advantage of it. Go away, Max. Okay. Well, they're pitting super early on lap 15 then, so now overcut. Checo's not pit because Verstappen has. Now that means they're just going to run longer on their second set of mediums. We did say that the default strategy when we went medium, soft, set it to like 15 laps and then 30 odd laps and then the soft stint. So we're just going to run our designed strategy then of pit 23 and then stop for a fresh set of mediums, have a 8 lap tyre advantage on those around us and try and close the gap. But if they get in a DRS train and get away from me, I might be in a bit of trouble. I need to either come out in free air whilst others fight, or are also in free air, so we can match them like for like with pace, or I need to come out in someone that is about the same pace as me's DRS. Come out in like Max Verstappen's DRS or something. Checo in the pits now. Now it's just hammer lap times. I just got to drive it like we stole it, as they say. It did say that our strategy was about 6 seconds faster. Said that our strategy was about 6 seconds faster than the default one that they're doing. So we'll see how true to life that actually is as a prediction. Checo's been able to pit and come out still ahead of Carlos Sainz. So now reckons I'll come out 4th if I pit. Sainz and Lewis are battling. If they keep battling, I might pit. Yeah, I think box this lap as well and try and get on the back of those 3.
Pitting this lap then. Come into the pits at the end of this lap.
Mediums, 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 mediums. Now, oh, it's a slick stop.
You and the crew there, mate. We're delighted with that.
Please tell me that them fighting is going to keep me competitive. Right, time to get after that lot. Carlos Sainz is going to be slow because he stopped ages ago because he started on softs. So we're planning on stopping on lap 46. Now, still, I'm just doing a longer middle stint. Get me within DRS of that Ferrari. Get me within DRS of that Ferrari. Not quite there. Purple sector 3, purple sector 1. I was quite there. Let's go. Game on. Right, now I need to dispatch of Carlos ASAP Rocky and get after Max and Lewis. Because Checo is disappearing at the minute. Actually, by going a lap longer, Checo's really helped his race because he's managed to avoid this trio that were fighting. This will be one of the easiest overtakes we'll make all day. We're going hunting for Red Bulls. This is more entertaining than just overheating tyres and sliding everywhere, isn't it? That is another fastest lap of the Grand Prix. I don't feel like I'm under much pressure from Carlos Sainz at all now, to be fair, even with his DRS. So I'm going to try and save a bit of battery. DRS range of Max Verstappen. And we are going to have to extend this stint further than we initially had intended. I'm curious to know if they also extend their stint or if they're going to switch to hards at the end and go medium, medium, hard. I imagine that they will extend the same way that we're planning on extending and go to softs at the end, but time will tell. I want to know what the gap to Checo is, really, ideally. Because if we're gaining on Max and Lewis, but are we gaining on Sergio Perez? That's what I want to know, more so than anything else at the minute. Should be another fastest lap of the race, maybe by 1 millisecond, I think. I think the previous was a 27.592. I did a 27.591. Could you get much more consistent in lap time than that? Come on then. P3. Please. So I'm going to have the outside line. It's not guaranteed. Trying to swoop, trying to swoop, trying to swoop. He's still there. He's very much still there. He's behind. Oh, I'll tell you what, this is an intense season finale, isn't it? Sergio Perez, 8 seconds down the road from us right now. That's going to be a challenge to try and overturn. This is Checo's race to lose. As it stands, I'm pretty sure Max Verstappen would win the Drivers' Championship as well. Carlos Sainz now in the pits off that set of mediums that haven't lasted him very long at all. So he'll either go hard to the end or he's doing a 3-stop. He has put the hard tyres on. So I imagine then that is Carlos Sainz having stopped for the final time and he's running hard tyres.
Lando's coming in for his stop now.
Now to try and get Lewis and Checo. Reprofiled Abu Dhabi is actually surprisingly quickly becoming one of my favourite circuits, apart from this first 1, 2, 3 corner section. Hi Lewis! Hello! Oh, I got a bit deep there. I'll go a little bit deep then. A little bit carried away. Sainz now back up to P5 on those hard tyres. Careful. He is with 2 other cars. George Russell and insert Alpine. Zhou Guanyu passing underneath us. We're going to lap him. Lewis had a horrible exit at turn 1 there. Don't you dare, don't you dare, don't you dare. Bloody hell, Zhou. Your man heart attack. Thank you for respecting those blue flags as best as you possibly could. I very much appreciate it. Come here, Lewis. Let's try again. Nearly at half race distance.
Okay, Lando's pushing really hard now. He's just put in the fastest lap of this race.
All right, Norris. Chill, Lando. All right, Lewis. Chill, Hamilton. Bye, mate. I think, yeah, just... Right, Operation Hunter Red Bull is underway again. It's just a different bloody Red Bull this time. We are after Sergio Perez for a potential Abu Dhabi Grand Prix victory. Don't know if I'm going to be able to catch him fast enough without having DRS on someone else, to be honest. I'll try. Gonna have to be pretty perfect with the way we drive the course and with our battery usage. So we're not under any pressure from behind now. At this stage, at the exact halfway point of the Grand Prix, I'd say we're on for a top 2. Where in that top 2? Not sure. I'm intrigued to see what the gap does to Carlos, actually, to see how competitive those hard tyres are. Whether they're worth going to if they go to them as well, or whether I'd be better off just staying on my worn mediums and still being faster on worn mediums than new hards. In the minute, worn mediums seem to be the better option.
Gaining on the car in front. Try to keep up this momentum.
Okay, so the gap to Carlos is growing, but only slightly. We've taken more out of Checo than we have on Sainz. They ask weather. Mate, we're in the desert, pal. It ain't raining. If there's a safety car at any point at this stage, we will go to hard tyres to the end. There would be no point continuing on the current pit strategy. We'd have to adjust. Because I don't think Lando's planning on making another stop. He's going to take those mediums he's got on to the end. He's going medium, hard, medium, Lando. Which is an odd strategy, but it's a strategy that might work for him to gain some places, but probably not enough. The fact that I'm ahead of Lewis right now is hopefully helping us in the constructors. But I don't know where George is. And I don't think Lewis... What did it say? Lando was 9th? I don't know where Lando is positionally at the minute.
Check your MFD.
Pin the throttle even more.
Option.
Whereas in Creative Series, I'm not going to have a chance to do that. I'm going to go to softs on 43. That is very early. I don't know if I can do 15 laps on softs. I'll say yes to maybe try and undercut Checo a little bit. But we will probably be slow at the end. Sainz in the pits off his hard tyres. I don't know what strategy some of the other cars are driving.
No tyre concerns at the moment, just focus on the driving.
Absolutely lost. Checo's coming up to some traffic, which might slow him up a little bit. Also might give him some DRS through a little bit of the track, which hopefully we can avoid. Gap is now under 4 seconds to him though, but he might be nearly within a second of that Haas. He's coming up to lap him at the one of the most horrible places that you could want to try and catch someone through this sector. Make a mistake, please. Make a mistake, please. Make a mistake, please. I want first place. Okay, nearly went with then. He's still not past him, so Checo's going to get DRS, you think, unless he lets him pass before the detection point. I think Checo's going to get DRS on that Haas. I don't know whether he... I think he is. I think he did get DRS. I think he let him pass after the... after We'll find out when we go down the straight, because the gap will tell us. I don't think he did. Gap's still coming down with use of battery, so must just have missed DRS. Annoyingly, I'm going to catch Mick before the DRS point, so I'm not going to get any DRS down the main straight.
We're approaching the pit window. You're going to be on the softs.
Hamilton has picked from behind me, so Lewis is going either for a very long soft stint or he's gone to hards. if Checo does the same, we are on for a victory. But Checo's not pit yet. We've adjusted from lap 46 to lap 43 to extend our soft stint. We just have to hope that we have enough pace in them for long enough to maybe steal the victory of this Grand Prix. We've closed down Checo from probably about 9 seconds when we were P4 behind Verstappen and Hamilton to now just 3, but it has taken about it's taken about 20 laps, to be fair. And to work very hard to try and close down this Red Bull. Sergio Perez has quite a bit of pace in that car right now. Lewis has just taken his teammate behind to get back into P4. Two Mercedes right with each other on track. Half a minute behind at the moment, but we are about to pit. Don't pull into the pits, Sergio Perez, please. He's not. Checo is not pitting, so Operation Undercut is a go, 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 go. Let's whack some sticky red soft tyres on. See if we can't get ourselves a race win. Right then, game on. So we know we had about 2.5 seconds to Checo. So if the gap is 22.5, then it's about a 20-second pit stop loss. So now I just need to close that gap down. And if that gap closes, which it is significantly at the moment, he's gonna have to respond to me now. Checo's got no choice but to pit this very next lap and then try and maintain track position, because we have gained a second on him in just the first sector and a half. If Checo doesn't pit this lap, then we should be in first position when he does. He has to pit now. And he hasn't. Checo continues on. I think the undercut's going to work. We've gained 2 seconds on him in 1 lap. But bear in mind, when Sergio comes out of the pits later, he will have a tyre advantage on me. So his tyres will be faster than mine when he comes out the pits. So whilst we're gaining on him now, when he pits and comes out, he'll then start to gain on me. So it's not a done deal at this stage. We will be under pressure at the end of the race. Max Verstappen also needs to pit again. I think they'll go 45 and 46 or 46 and 47. Max has. So Max is in, and they're prioritising. So they're prioritising fastest lap of the race. They're prioritising Max Verstappen's pit strategy over Sergio Perez, which was already, well, he was already maybe going to lose probably going to lose the victory anyway. But now, surely, with an extra lap for me to undercut him, and they've gone to hards with Max as well. If Sergio goes to hards too, then that is game over, mate. Checo needs to go to softs to stand any chance of catching me. Otherwise, this is a slam dunk, straightforward now victory. But it's taken 25 plus laps worth of hard racing as fast as I possibly can to put myself into this position. We're not being gifted this potential victory by any stretch. We have earned this. Very much so indeed. Checo in the pits now. Sergio Perez in the pits, and we will take the lead the Grand Prix. Please go to softs to make it interesting. He's gone to hards. Checo, it's been a valiant effort, son. But as I set another fastest lap of the race that I should keep now to the end of the race if they're on hards. This is my dub, pal. GG's. That is us winning the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, and I have never won around here before. With the old layout, I was slow. With the new layout, I found a rhythm that I very much enjoy. He was 2.5 seconds in front of us when we pit. He's now 5 seconds behind us. The undercut has earned us 7.5 seconds. And that's why Checo needed to react. Even if he was going to go to hards anyway, He needed to react when I pit. He needed to pit the very next lap. He didn't, and as such, he's come out behind me rather than maybe coming out in front of me and trying to hold me off. Thank you, Sebastian, for letting me through, pal. Appreciate that very much indeed. Well, we won't be winning a Drivers' Championship this season with McLaren. But what we are doing is proving that you can go from the midfield to the front in one season if you spend your resource points right, you drive hard enough, and you have a little bit of luck along the way. Another fastest lap of the Grand Prix. 11 laps to go, including the one that we're on.
Okay, so we're leading our teammate
And hopefully the soft tyres last. There might come a point when my soft tyres get super worn, which they already kind of are, 15% after 5 laps, where Checo's hard tyres then become faster than mine. It might not be over yet. The rears aren't really the go-to that need protecting, T-Sark, to be honest. It's all very similar. If the rears were wearing significantly faster than the fronts, then yeah, absolutely, I'd try and maybe take care of them, but at the minute, I just want to get to the end as fast as I possibly can. Don't think I'm going to lose my fastest lap of the race either, but I might do. It might be nice to end the season with a fastest lap as well. Gap to Checo is certainly coming down now. 4.8, but with only 3 laps to go. And me not really using my battery the past 2 or 3 laps. I think it's too little too late for the Mexican. Leclerc might not even be in the points. 6 Lando, 7 Russell, 8. Yeah, Leclerc's currently P10 behind a Williams, I think. Unless he's lapping said Williams, in which case he's P9 at best. So Max, to be fair, Max only needed a P4, didn't he? He was 15 points clear, so he just needed to be on the podium or a P4 with the fastest lap to guarantee himself a title if Charles Leclerc won the race. But rather evidently, Charles Leclerc's not winning the race, so Max Verstappen will be world champion once more. The gap to Checo has come down significantly. It is now 2.7 seconds. I hadn't actually paid it any attention for the past couple of laps, and it has halved since I last looked at it, there or thereabouts. So Checo is making a late surge. Well, I haven't really used my battery at all, and sorry Checo, it's just a little bit too little too late. We are going to win the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix here on the final day of this one season special at McLaren that I've thoroughly enjoyed driving along with all of you. I very much hope you'll join me for F123 in, as I record this, a week's time. As you see this, a couple of days' time, I think. This might even be, say, Thursday's video, perhaps? Maybe even later than that. Checo half the gap, even still, on that last lap. But I'm sorry, Sergio. That is a dub for McLaren. And a dub for me, which seals P3 in the championship for me. And P3 in the championship for my team as well. Which is fantastic. Lando gets driver of the day, going from P19 to P5, I think. And Max Verstappen wins his second world title. So GG's there. We'll find out if he'll win a third one in real life and sooner. So in F123, between now and about a month's time, there or thereabouts. There are quite a few races on the calendar, of course, in real life, and we will be doing a full 100% season with every race in it on F123, rather than the shortened season like we did here on F122 for this McLaren save. So we'll try and get through as many seasons as we can on F123 and hopefully have a full career from the very back of the grid to the very front of the grid. It is shaky bottle time. I won't do so on this occasion, but we win the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix for the first time ever for me, I think. And we do get the fastest lap as well. I think the only time I've ever won, the only time I've ever been on the podium at Abu Dhabi has been P3, I think. Lando finishes 8th in the driver's standings. Unfortunately for him, Carlos Sainz finishes just ahead of him by 4 points. Wasn't able to do it, but we do hold off Mercedes by a good 36-point margin, thanks to mainly my win at the end of the season there. So very, very, very pleased with that. Do drop the video a like if you've enjoyed this McLaren save, and like I say, please do make sure you're subscribed to this ChesnoidPlays YouTube channel so you don't miss out on F1 23 when it begins in just a few days' time. For those of you that haven't joined me on stream, do come and join me, link in the description down below. We, of course, stream all of our content live on Twitch as well, so do come and join me. I'd appreciate it. For those of you that are watching live on Twitch right now, if you haven't followed, then please do so. There'll be, of course, F1 23 stuff coming to you in a week's time-ish. That is the end of our time here at McLaren and the end of our time on this game. But we end the season with a couple of deserved victories, a couple of gifted victories in Belgium and Azerbaijan, thanks to bugs. But the win in the United States and the win in Abu Dhabi, fully earned, thank you very much. So we're thrilled with that. And that's one of the best seasons I've had, albeit shortened, in my recent F1 gaming history. So hopefully you guys will join me for F1 23. That'll bring this YouTube video to a close. Thank you very much for watching. I hope to see you very soon indeed. I'll see you next time.